The Edo Tensei revival of Shisui is one of the many things that fans were hoping for back when the Naruto manga ran weekly. One of the most legendary ninja ever fighting against the Alliance would definitely be something worthwhile seeing, which is why so many fans long for this to happen. How would the Naruto story change if Shisui was revived? Would it be for better or would it be for worse? In today's video, I plan to look at this scenario. First, before jumping into the fallout of Shisui being reanimated, we have to debunk a major fallacy that still exists in the fandom for some reason, which is the belief that Kabuto couldn't revive Shisui. The fact of the matter is that Kabuto could have indeed revived Shisui if he wanted to. It's true, Shisui's body did go missing, but Kabuto didn't need his body to revive him. In the manga, when Kabuto confronts Obito, he states that he only needs the corpse of Danzo to revive Shisui. Danzo did indeed crush Shisui's eye when he killed himself in his battle fighting Sasuke, but even the smallest trace of DNA is all that Kabuto needs for the reanimation ninjutsu. In chapter 520, Obito tells Kabuto not to push his luck when Kabuto demands the body of Danzo to revive Shisui, since there would be traces of his DNA in Danzo's right eye socket. For the purpose of this video, we're going to assume that Obito gives into the temptation of having Shisui being brought back via the reanimation ninjutsu because of the chance to have Shisui's Kotoamatsukami used on his side during the war. If we assume that Kabuto is allowed the body of Danzo, then by extension we will see the revival of the most hated character in all of Naruto, Danzo himself. After all, Kabuto would have more than enough of Danzo's DNA to revive him since his whole body would be there. This would mean that both Danzo and Shisui would be revived for the 4th Great Ninja War. Given that Kabuto was able to bring back Itachi and Madara with both of their eyes, despite the fact that their physical eyes were elsewhere, and also the fact that Nagato had the Rinnegan as well, I see no reason that Shisui wouldn't have both of his eyes in his possession, which means that Danzo would have Shisui's eye under his control as well. Given that Obito would have already conceded quite a bit to Kabuto, there's no harm in allowing Jiraiya to be brought back as well by scraping off the DNA on the chakra rods that Pain used to kill Jiraiya, which is what Kabuto intentionally wished to do in the manga. Just the 3 of them being on the battlefield presents a real risk for the Shinobi Alliance being wiped out overnight. It's very important to remember that Naruto didn't get past the Raikage until chapter 545, which is dawn of the next day. In chapter 537, not only had Obito made his way onto the battlefield, but over 50% of the Shinobi Alliance had been killed, with a possible combination of Danzo, Shisui, and Jiraiya on the battlefield. It's very possible that this number goes up to 70,000, given each of these revived ninja 10,000 kills apiece, and Shisui is skilled even without his Mangekyou Sharingan. For a more in-depth look at how strong Shisui Uchiha is, check the info cards or check the description box down below for my video on how powerful is Shisui Uchiha. However, to be very short and to the point, Shisui has 3 changes in chakra nature at his disposal and was powerful enough that a squad of Mist Ninja refused to fight him based off of his teleportation speed. This makes it even more likely that he decimates the Shinobi Alliance. However, I believe that Kabuto would see the stealth advantages to having Shisui and Danzo on the battlefield. It's very feasible that Kabuto dispatches Danzo to the Shinobi headquarters to place Tsunade or the Raikage under the Kotoamatsukami, forcing them to kill everyone at the HQ, thereby forcing the Alliance to fight without any direction, which makes them easier to kill off. He could also place Danzo and Shisui alongside Itachi and Nagato, having 4 dojutsu users confront the 2 perfect Jinchuriki of Naruto and Killer Bee. This brings up the huge elephant in the room, Kotoamatsukami. Kotoamatsukami, as we all know, is stated to be the ultimate genjutsu. Itachi stated that the jutsu can only be used once every 10 years, and Danzo said that he couldn't use it multiple times a day, despite having Senju DNA on his arm. In chapter 459, when he uses the genjutsu at the Kage Summit, the jutsu went into a cooldown period of several hours, which he regained in chapter 480 if Kabuto makes the same enhancements as he did to Madara's his body, then by extension Shisui would have Senju DNA to aid him, but like Danzo, he will be unable to spam the jutsu. This brings up another question: can Shisui cast genjutsu on himself to break free of Kabuto's control? I'm gonna say no, simply for the fact that there's no confirmation that Kotoamatsukami can be cast on the user itself. When Itachi uses the crow to break free, it was Shisui's eye targeting him. There's no confirmation Shisui can do this to himself, so once again I'm throwing it out. However, this brings up another issue. If Kabuto does indeed decide to place Danzo and Shisui on the same team to capture Naruto and Killer Bee, having each use Kotoamatsukami on one of the Jinchuriki, then the war would essentially be over. Obito was able to control a perfect Jinchuriki when he controlled the third Mizukage. Kotoamatsukami is stated to be a perfect genjutsu, which means that Naruto and Killer Bee would likely be placed under control of Danzo and Shisui. After all, if an inferior jutsu was used by an Uchiha can control a perfect Jinchuriki, then in theory the ultimate genjutsu Kotoamatsukami could as well due to its hack's nature. Now this leads us to several scenarios. Scenario 1, Itachi's Mangekyou triggers the crow inside of Naruto, which is still programmed to react at the sight of Itachi's Mangekyou. This would mean that Itachi would break free. However, this would effectively place him in a battle against Danzo, Shisui, and Nagato. There's also the high possibility that Naruto and Bee, who would be placed on the Kotoamatsukami, would join in a fight, meaning that Itachi gets the beads that he used against Nagato shoved up his ass in turn. In scenario 2, Kabuto decides to split up the Kotoamatsukami users, deciding not to risk losing both of them in a battle. Instead, he would send Danzo to HQ to slaughter everyone. Meanwhile, Shisui would likely have his emotions wiped away by Kabuto, thus making him target Killer Bee or Naruto, with the most likely being Killer Bee, since Naruto is stated to be required to be the final Jinchuriki who sealed away. This would place Itachi and Naruto in a battle with Bee, Nagato, and Shisui. Itachi would fight Shisui, which would make for a really awesome battle, seeing two Susanos ripping up at the earth while fireball jutsus get exchanged. However, as the forest around them burned, Naruto would be placed in a dire situation. Naruto is easily stronger than Killer Bee. However, Nagato's Rinnegan is hacks and will require Naruto's full attention. One false move against the Rinnegan user would result in Nagato using the human path to rip out Naruto's soul. It's also possible that Itachi advises Naruto to flee, but let's be honest here. Is there really a such thing as running away? Even if Naruto manages to get Nagato to return to the world of the dead, Bee would ultimately be whisked away by Shisui and Bee would be sealed away, resulting in the death of Killer Bee. Itachi would likely still track down Kabuto, though given it took him a few hours to do so, given the fact that Itachi leaves Naruto during the daytime and arrives at Kabuto's location at nightfall the same day, then this would mean that Danzo, Shisui would have the remainder of the day to lay waste to the Shinobi Alliance. Jiraiya is where things get really interesting or comical depending on how you look at it. But if this does happen, then the sight of Naruto in full power, seeing that Naruto is at peace with the Kyuubi, would make Jiraiya return to the world of the dead, since Naruto would have accomplished his second greatest desire for him, with the first being that Naruto finds the answer to world peace. Because of the cooldown period of Kotoamatsukami still being in effect, by the time that Itachi and Sasuke find Kabuto, it's very likely that Shisui at some point would have his personality restored to him. Given that Shisui hates fighting, it's possible for him to eventually return to the world of the dead under the right circumstances, which leaves Naruto to fight Danzo. A battle with Danzo would prove to be extremely difficult if you take bias out of the fight, especially if this occurs after Madara Uchiha is revived. Now, you have to take this into consideration. Given that Kotoamatsukami is still under a cooldown effect, I see no reason that Kabuto wouldn't revive Madara as well, so as to speed up capturing Naruto. This leaves Naruto with a very daunting task of fighting not only Danzo, who can use Izanagi multiple times over, as well as use summoning jutsu, but he would also have Obito and his 6 paths to worry about fighting. Then, when you add in Madara Uchiha, who would not be busy handling the 5 Kages, this would mean the deck is stacked against Naruto. Even if Danzo is defeated and sent back to the world of the dead via the almighty Talk no Jutsu or some random ninja sealing away Danzo, which at its best would mean that Naruto has Gaara, Kakashi, and Guy to back him up. Guy would be forced to enter into his 8 gates in order to prevent Naruto from being captured. It's worth noting that there is a major misconception that needs to be cleared up. If Guy goes into the 8th gate, the duration that he can use the technique isn't nearly as long as it was made to appear in the anime. This would mean that Guy would likely target Obito, who would be the only living combatant and would be in control of 6 Jinchuriki, which means taking out Obito would mean that Guy could defeat 7 people at once. This is where a problem comes up. Going by the manga, there's a question as to if the 8 gates can hold up for 5 minutes of continual combat, and if, given the sheer number of fighters in the battle, if Guy would be able to attack for 5 minutes uninterrupted, since if one person distracts him, Obito can restart the 5-minute interval that he can use his jutsu to become transparent. Targeting Madara makes absolutely no sense, since Madara can just regenerate from any attack that he receives. Regardless, after the time limit expires, Guy would cling to his tattered green jumpsuit, dying a youthful death and forever being remembered by Naruto as Bushier Brow Sensei. With Guy being dead, despite his Sharingan connection, Kakashi likely wouldn't be able to take advantage of the connection he has with Obito via the Sharingan due to the fact that he doesn't have the sheer numbers advantage that he did originally. This would mean that Naruto being captured before Itachi and Sasuke are able to defeat Kabuto, which would in turn lead to Madara forcing Obito to revive him and the infinite Tsukuyomi would be casted. Well guys, that's it for my video today. I've held off on making this video partly because of how dark the scenario would go, but also because Shisui is so damn hacked and there's so many possible angles for the story to take. Thanks so much for watching to the end.